Chapter 4 Why Tyler? Wednesday's perspective. When I returned to the dorm, I felt a strange sense of unease. I hadn't really processed what had happened with Tyler. My mind was still spinning with fragments of thoughts I couldn't quite piece together. It was the most bizarre evening. He wasn't like the others, his curiosity about me was relentless, but there was something, almost endearing about it. And yet, I found myself questioning why I had even agreed to spend time with him in the first place. When I walked through the door, Eden was waiting for me, grinning from ear to ear. I didn't even have to look up to know her expression. What now? She was always far too eager to gossip. What are you smiling about? I asked, staring at her with a blank expression, my usual defense. Why do people insist on making assumptions? Her grin only grew wider. How was your date with Tyler? I stopped in my tracks. My mind raced. Date? Did they honestly think that's what it was? A date? Was it that obvious? I didn't answer right away. Instead, I walked past her without a word. I couldn't be bothered to explain myself, or even entertain the thought of her excitement. My socializing for the day had hit its limit. I didn't understand why and how Tyler's name suddenly got associated with me in such a human way. Boyfriend? I hadn't agreed to anything resembling that. Yet, the label seemed to have stuck. Why was it that everyone suddenly cared about who I spent time with? I wasn't sure whether to be annoyed or just baffled. The rumor mill at Nevermore Academy worked fast, especially when it came to Wednesday Addams. Most of the students barely dared to even look at her, let alone approach her. She was an enigma, dark, mysterious, and completely uninterested in whatever social games they played. So, when the whispers started, everyone perked up. By lunchtime, the news had spread like wildfire. Wednesday Addams, the girl who hardly spoke to anyone, had gone on a date with a Normie. Some students were outright stunned. No way. She went on a date with him, a girl in the back row whispered to her friend, barely able to contain her shock. I thought she hated everyone who wasn't from Nevermore. What does she see in him? Others just laughed. It's gotta be a joke. Maybe she's just messing with him. She has to be. The thought of someone like Tyler being involved with Wednesday seemed like a strange fantasy to them, a Normie, someone from the outside world, thinking they could even come close to understanding her. One thing was certain, though. It was the topic of conversation everywhere.